Very good morning to everyone. Students, once again we are with you, and in today's class we are going to discuss chapter number 4 in history. I hope you have completed the question answers of lesson number 3 in your fair notebook. If you have not completed, you can complete it as soon as possible. And one more thing I want to remind you that if you are having any kind of doubt in any question, then you can write me in comment section. I will give you the solution in the next video. Or if possible, then in comment section I can reply. So students, today we are going to discuss the second phase of Indian national movement, or in this we will discuss that causes of partition of Bengal and perspectives of by the nationalists, and brief mention of Surat split 1907, objectives and methods of and struggle of assertive nationalists, and two contribution of Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, and Lala Lajpat Rai. So Lal Bal Pal is the highlight of this chapter, and usually they are asking the question with this Surat split and with this that causes for partition of Bengal and methods for the struggle of assertive nationalists. These are the important points of the syllabus which we are going to discuss. So today we are going to discuss in your class first one we are going to discuss about partition of Bengal and causes for partition of Bengal, anti-partition movement, and with that we will discuss Surat split and causes for the rise of assertive nationalists. These topics we are going to discuss today. So I hope you understood what is that syllabus for today's class. So keep your book with you and get ready for the class. So student, before going to that class, I would like to tell that last video I could not update that civics question answer. Rahul concerned that I want civics question answers. I am not having the book, so I am giving the question answers. You can go through. These are the short answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 23. These are the short answers. I hope you can go through these one. I have zoomed these question answers so that you can read on the screen. So now I am going to show you of question answers in civics, and these are the short answers. I am zooming for you till question number 30. These are the short answers. You can go through, and then afterwards we are having these structured questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can read this one clearly. I hope so you can read. Now I am going to the next topic, and that is partition of Bengal. First we are going to discuss. Students, before going to topic partition of Bengal, I would like to tell something about Lord Curzon. So Lord Curzon was the viceroy from 1899 till 1905, and during his tenure he was having many controversies, many acts he has introduced. We will discuss in that different part of the chapter, but here I would like to discuss that he was the person who divided Bengal into two parts. So if we are discussing about Bengal, then Bengal was comprising that Bihar, Odisha, Bengal, Chota Nagpur, and some other remote areas. So it was near about 80 million people were living, and he declared that in on July 20, 1905 that we are going to divide Bengal. And after division of Bengal, whatever he has made, he divided the Bengal in two parts, Bengal and Eastern Bengal. So let me turn the page, and Bengal, which was included the western districts of Bengal, proper Bihar and Odisha, and population of 54 million, Calcutta was made its capital. So Calcutta was the capital of Bengal, and total 54 million people were there, including the Bihar and Bengal. And if we are going to Eastern Bengal, then and Assam, they both merged. They both were merged, and Dhaka was the capital, and 31 million was the population of this area. So these this was the division of Bengal by Lord Curzon. We have to discuss that what was the impact, or what was the main cause for this partition of Bengal. So whatever the logic was given by Lord Curzon, that we cannot rule out such a huge population together, so that's why we are dividing due to administration. But according to that historians, some other causes were also there for partition of Bengal. So we are going through. One more thing I want to mention here, that what is going on? That Bengal was divided on 16 October 1905, while it was declared on 20 July 1905. So clear, Bengal was divided on 16 October, but it was declared on 20 July 1905. So now we are going about first point, the real cause of this partition of Bengal. So we can say so that Risley, the Home Secretary of the government, the statement I am reading, that one, that Bengal united is a power and Bengal divided, we pull in several different ways. One of our main object is to split up and thereby the weaken a solid body of opponents to our rule. So one more reason I want to mention here, that that time Kolkata was the capital, and one more thing, that most of that national movement, or we can say nationalists, or most of that revolutionaries were coming from Bengal, and that Britishers don't want that capital or that capital area should have such kind of revolt or such kind of aggressive nationalists. So they want to split, as the Home Secretary said, that if we are splitting them, then we will weaken our opponents. So main motive was there to weaken the opponents, or that nationalists who were coming from Bengal. So that was the first point, and that is important point, that most of that nationalists were coming from Bengal. And second thing, that Kolkata was the capital of India that time, and whenever that partition of Bengal was annulled, then capital also shifted from Kolkata to Delhi. So that we'll discuss afterwards. Now we are going to discuss about second and third point. So second point, that they were intended that curb the Bengali influence by not only placing the Bengalis under two administrations, but reducing them to a minority in Bengal itself. So they don't want that Bengali people should have majority in Bengal. They want to reduce them, and they want to make them in minority in Bengal itself. Means what a tragic condition, that Bengalis will be in minority in Bengal itself. So this was the game plan which Britishers played with the Indians. And third one, that partition was meant for foster division on basis of religion, and East Bengal would be predominantly a Muslim majority state, and West Bengal would have a Hindu majority state. So they have made like that East Bengal will be a Muslim majority state, while there was Hindu in majority, and they have declared that West Bengal as a Hindu majority state, while Muslims were there in majority. So they have played the game very clearly or very cleverly, and so that they want to make Indians in trap. But Indians were not that much careless about that matter, so they have take the matter in their knowledge, and most of that nationalists or that Congress leaders, Indian National Congress, as well as some other leaders in Bengal, like Krishna Kumar Mitra, P.C. Roy, Bipin Chandra Pal, Ananda Mohan Bose, and they unite the people against that partition of Bengal. and not within Bengal. Outside the Bengal also they made it very clear that partition is against India, not only against Bengal, it is against India. So jamidars, merchants, lawyers, students, women all rose up in opposition of partition of Bengal, and not only Hindus, Muslims also came together, and many newspapers like Bengali, Hitabdi, and Sanjbani. Sanjivani, these were that newspapers which criticized that partition of Bengal, and main event was held in town hall of Kolkata in on August 7, 1905. So many delegates all over that India came there, and meeting was held there, and afterwards that reaction of people came in form. So let us go through what was the reaction. So anti-partition movement I have explained to you. Means the lawyers, okay, I have already defined all these things. Now we are going to discuss about people's reaction. So in the street of Kolkata, all were having the slogan Vande Matram. Here I want to mention Vande Matram is taken from Anand Math, and who is that author of that one, you know well, Bankim Chand Chatterjee. So this was the sole slogan of national movement Vande Matram, and Rabindranath Tagore also introduced one Bengali song, Amar Sonar Bangla, means My Golden Bengal, and these two songs were that very popular beats in that movement, and all were going in the march barefooted, means they were not having even chappals, and all of that government employees went on hartal, and they walked with that slogan of Vande Matram and Amar Sonar Bangla, and they went to river Ganga, which is known as Hooghly in West Bengal, and they take the holy bath in the morning itself, and Hindu and Muslim tied Rakhi to each other and promised that they will keep together, or they will be together, they will go against the Britishers. So this was the people's reaction, and in afternoon that great demonstrations when that Verton leader Ananda Mohan Bose laid the foundation of Federation Hall, and this was that introduction of anti-partition movement, and this anti-partition movement was continuing from 1905 till 1911, and in 1911 when partition of Bengal was revoked, then this movement came to an end. So I would like to discuss that what was the impact of this anti-partition movement, then we can go through. So first one, that partition of Bengal was against the Indians, not only against the Bengal, and people rose their unity and resist to suffer and sacrifice. So they were willing to sacrifice, and this time this was the first time in the history of India when mass movement was very successful, or we can say that Lal Bal Pal, these were that very prominent leader who were able to take that crowd, or we can say masses, in that movement. So just like the magnet, they attract that masses in their movement, and this movement became very aggressive all over India. So second thing I want to tell here, that Swadeshi and boycott, these were the popular call by these Lal Bal Pal, and this was very popular, and people started to boycott, and they started to use Swadeshi, and Swaraj, and Swaraj means Swadeshi, and Swadeshi stores were also being open. In 1907, first store was also open in Bengal. So we can say, so they were selling that clothes on that or Swadeshi products on that stores. First Swadeshi store, as I told you, was introduced in Bengal, and people were boycotting that goods or British goods. or foreign goods, and they were collecting all the on the crossroads, and they were lighting the fire to those goods. And industries, education, and culture and literature, all these things was going to be Indian. So how that education through that national schools and industries means Swadeshi stores and Swadeshi industry they started, and culture means by that education, Akhada Club, Lathi Club, Ganpati Festival, Shivaji Festival, they inculcate that cultural awareness in the people. So next we are going to discuss point number 3, that people now lost their faith in that justice of the Britishers. They came to know that real character of the Britishers, that what they are, and especially Lord Curzon was having very repressive colonial policies. We'll discuss in the separate point further in the chapter. So he said that the partition of Bengal is settled, and what is settled cannot be unsettled, or what is done cannot be undone. So that's why that people of Bengal became aggressive against Lord Curzon, and due to that anti-partition movement, that partition of Bengal was revoked. So now we are going to discuss about fourth point, that agitation was there against the Lord Curzon, and it was added in the national movement. And methods adopted by early nationalists lost their significance. Means appeal, protest and prayers was useless. Now new mode of protest, that is mass movement or national movement, came in form. So that change came in that thinking of people, while on early nationalists were on petitions, prayers and protest. Now that mass movement became important one. So now we are going to discuss on the next topic. I hope you understood. And first point, I am taking that causes for the rise of assertive nationalists. So the points are a little bit humble. So you can say so that you can study it according to that point. So point number 4 I am taking first in your book, and that is growing consciousness among Indians. So what is meant by growing consciousness? Means we know well that social reformers like Dayanand Saraswati, Vivekanand, they aware Indian people, and they make them aware about their culture, about their importance, and about their great historical importance. And then what happened? Self-help, self-sacrifice became the slogan. Or Bipin Chandra Pal, Lala Lajpat Rai, and one more Lal Bal Pal, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So these persons were the role model for everyone, and they became that leaders of these assertive nationalists. One more person was there, which picture you are watching in your slide, Aurobindo Ghosh. So Aurobindo Ghosh was the person who was leading that ashram, and he was said that you have to become the witness against these persons, but he refused to do so, and that's why he was sent to jail. And what was the role of Aurobindo Ghosh? He was giving that national education, he was giving that knowledge of culture, self-sacrifice and self-help. In his ashram, he was preparing that Indians for the self-respect and self-confidence and national education. So this point is over, I think so. So what is the conclusion of this point? That self-sacrifice, self-help or self-respect. This was that three qualities which were being developed by that assertive nationalist in the people, by that social reformers like Vivekananda, Dayanand Saraswati. They have taken the reference, and they have taken that glorious past of India, and they make Indians aware about their culture. So next slide I am going to ill treatment of Indians abroad. So in especially in South Africa, Indians were subjected for the racial discrimination. Racial discrimination means that white peoples are superior one and black one are inferior one. So waiting rooms for white people separate on the railway stations. Waiting room for black people were separate. Means they were considered superior one, and black people or the Indians were considered inferior one. So hotels, clubs, buses, and railway coaches, these were reserved for white peoples. And if any black people or Indians were going, then they were thrown out. You have listened about Mahatma Gandhi. He was also thrown out from that rail first class compartment. Even then he was having the reservation. Why? Because this was allowed only for white people, not for black people. So this was the discrimination between the whites and Indians. So somewhere else I told you that Indians and dogs are not allowed. Some hotels and clubs were having such kind of board also. So this board is given in your book also. On page number 48 you can see waiting room for white only. So like that, hotels, clubs, buses, railways, these were fixed for white people and black people separately. So Indians or black people were not allowed in that one. So this board is there for you also in your slide. Waiting room only for white people. So same condition was there in the hotels, buses, clubs, and dogs and Indians were not allowed according to the discrimination policy. So this was another cause for rise of nationalism in India. So agitation and aggression came in the form of aggressive nationalists. So now we are going to discuss next one, existence of national schools. So if we are discussing about Lal Bal Pal, they were that most prominent leader of these assertive nationalists. So they focus on national education, and nationalist school of thoughts were established. In this, few names are there, just like Raj Narayan Bose, Ashwani Kumar, and Vishnu Shastri Chiplankar. So these were in Maharashtra, Kolkata, and Maharashtra and Kolkata. So they established that national schools of thoughts, and one more name is there: Lokmanya Balagangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, and Arvindo Ghosh, Lala Lajpat Rai. So Lala Lajpat Rai became first principal of that one, or founder of. You have listened about okay, I will missing something else. So he established that schools or national schools, we can say so. In further slide, it will come in mind. I will tell you. So DAV, okay, it came in mind. DAV, Dayanand Vedic, Dayanand Anglo-Vedic schools. These were of two types: one Hindi medium, one English medium. Where English education was given and where Hindi education was given. But both the schools were having that national thoughts, or they were inculcating that students about that Indian culture, about glory of India, and they were preparing their mind to be a true nationalists. So this was started by Indians, and these schools help a lot to make people aware about their culture, about their unity, and about their rights. So Swaraj was declared or independence as a goal of national movement, and this national movement was inculcated in that students of National School of Thoughts, or the school established by these aggressive nationalists. So these were the main points of this one. And if people was having the mind set against the Britishers, so they became aggressive after knowing that what Britishers were doing with Indians and what should be the real treatment with the Indians. So the next topic I am going to discuss, the growth of education and unemployment. So point number 7 in the book. So this point is very easy to understand. We have discussed this point before also in chapter number 2, that different education system was introduced in India before Britishers. But whenever Britishers came, they introduced that Western education in India, and they promised that after getting the education you will get the employment. So number of people of India join Western education in 19th century, and whatever that result of that one, most of that Indians were unemployed, or which were having the employment, they were not considered as same as Britishers or the Europeans were considered. So unemployment and dissatisfaction against the Britishers were there. Who were getting the job, they were getting less salaries and less chances of promotions, or bleak chances of promotions. On the other hand, most of the people were unemployed because the job opportunities were very less in compared to that educated persons. So these all or both kind of Indians, educated one, they turned against the Britishers, or they became aggressive, and that's why they joined aggressive nationalism. So next one, first point in the book, recognition of true nature of British rule. So as I have discussed with you that early nationalists were having full faith in Britishers, and they were thinking so that Britishers are for betterment of India, they are not for they are good for India, and they can only they can improvise the Indian conditions for civil rights. So this illusion came to an end by that Calcutta Corporation Act, University Act, Official Secret Act introduced by Lord Curzon. And the one more thing was there, that whenever Lala Lajpat Rai went to England, and he discussed about the rights of Indian people, and he discussed with the British statesmen that why that Indians are not getting their rights. Then answer was given to him that we are not having enough time to discuss our matters, so how we can discuss about Indians. So after that incident, that Indians became aggressive, and because early nationalists were giving that petitions, prayers to the British government, and all these things were kept in that waste paper basket, so that agitation against the Britishers came in form. So Indians or early nationalists recognized the true nature of Britishers, or that rule of Britishers in India. They came to know that only exploitation of Indians is the main motive of Britishers. They are not here for betterment of Indians, they are here for exploitation of Indians. So next point we are going to discuss, failure of early nationalists. So early nationalists advocated that adoption of European revolutionary methods to meet British imperialism. So in starting phase of Congress, or starting phase of early nationalists, they were criticizing, they were having peaceful agitation, constitutional methods, but all these methods were useless because the main motive of Britishers were to exploit India. So that assertive nationalists accused early nationalists of limiting their activities to the middle class of the society, and the failure of the early nationalists to get something substantial from British government led the demand for more aggressive against the Britishers. So what is this concept? Main concept is there, while early nationalists use all the methods and they didn't get anything special or something for the betterment for the Indians, then the concept in the mind of early nationalists change, or few of them become aggressive. Why they become aggressive? Because they thought so that by middle class, or by this business class, or doctors, lawyers, engineers, these were only few persons, and these few persons cannot change the mind of Britishers. So they thought so that till when that middle class or that common people will not involve in this one, then we cannot give our voice to the British government, and they will not listen to us till when we will not have the masses. And what are the main drawback of early nationalists? They were not having the masses, only few people were having their petitions, prayers and protest. So next topic we can move, worsening economic conditions. So if we are discussing about 1896 to 1900, and we are taking that 90 lakh lives were taken by that famines, and even then there was a silver jubilee celebration of Queen Victoria, and in that millions of people, millions of rupees were spent, while that Indians were helpless and no help was given by Britishers to Indians to improve their conditions from famines, and even a single step was not taken by the British government to improvise the conditions which Indians were facing. So next we are going to discuss influence of international events. So Britishers were being failed on most of that fronts in all over the world, as well as Ethiopia, in South Africa, Abyssinia, and Boer Wars. Most of the places Britishers were defeated, and that international events were telling that Britishers are not invincible. Means Britishers can be win by our efforts. So this concept was being developed in the Indians, and they become aggressive for their demands that yes, we can. So this confidence was coming from international events which was being held in Ethiopia, Abyssinia, South Africa, and Boer Wars. All these events or international events given the confidence to the Indians that yes, they can also get their rights. So that's why they become aggressive. Next we are going to discuss about colonial policy of Lord Curzon, or repressive policies of Lord Curzon. So this topic is very important one. I have taken that these four important acts which made that Lord Curzon a brutal one. So first one, Act of 1898, which made an offence to provoke people against the Britishers. So what is this one? According to this act, if you are criticizing the British government, then it is a crime and you can be arrested by the British government. It was introduced first by Lord Curzon in 1898. And second one was Kolkata Corporation Act, and according to this act, that number of that elected members in that governance will be reduced, and in this way what will happen, that Britishers will be more in number and they will be majority, and whatever they want they can take the decision. And third one, Official Secret Act, means why you are being arrested it will not tell to you, you will come to know only it when it will kept in front of the trial, means on the time of trial only you will come to know that why you are arrested. So it was known as Official Secret Act, means they are keeping the secret officially with them, and they will not tell you anything else till when the trial is not there. So next one is the Indian University Act of 1904. According to this act, strict control was there over the universities. If any student of university will criticize the British government or they will take part in protest, then action will be taken against the university, and that authentication of that university will be cancelled, or that they will now not have authority, or that university will not have the authority to give the degrees. So like that they will have strict action was taken by Lord Curzon, and these all acts and actions made that Indians hostile against Britishers, and they stand against the Britishers, or they became aggressive. So next one, need of mass action. It is very easy to understand, as I have already defined that early nationalists were very few in numbers, and they were having protest prayers, and no one knows that what they are doing. Masses were not involved. So now it is the time that masses should be involved, so that Britishers have impact on that one of Indians, or they can think about Indians, or they cannot underestimate the Indians if masses will be involved. And first time it was seen in anti-partition movement in 1905. So partition of Bengal, you know well that in 1905 Lord Curzon divided Bengal in two parts, and this was the most important event which turned Indians against Britishers. It was very clear that intention of the Britishers is to divide and rule. So that's why that aggressiveness or agitation turned into aggressiveness, and early nationalists turned into the aggressive nationalists. So next and important point or last point of this video I am going to discuss, that is split of Congress of 1907. So we know well that assertive nationalist and early nationalist, two wings were there in that Congress, and one was thinking so that Britishers are well and good and they are here for betterment of India. But another persons or few persons were thinking so that Britishers are not as good as we are thinking so, and if we want our rights, then we have to be aggressive, otherwise we cannot get our rights. So that dispute between the two wings were there in the Congress in 1906, and the issue was Swadeshi Swaraj and national education. Means early nationalists think so that by moderate way we can get the success, or we can get the home rule. But assertive nationalists thought so that we cannot get our aims by moderate way or in mild way. We have to be aggressive, otherwise our rights cannot be achieved. So in 1906 this dispute was resolved while Dadabhai Naoroji was elected as that president of Congress. But in 1907 this dispute cannot be solved, which is known as Surat session. So the assertive nationalists proposed the name of Lala Lajpat Rai as the president of the Surat session, and early nationalists proposed the name of Ras Bihari Ghosh. And when the session of Surat began in December 1907, there was utter confusion and led to split in the Congress. So no one was ready. In 1906 the dispute was same, but due to that name of Dadabhai Naoroji, that aggressive nationalists could not do anything else, because Dadabhai Naoroji was a great name whose opposition was not possible for aggressive nationalists. But in 1907, while the name of Lala Lajpat Rai as well as from that moderates or the early nationalist Ras Bihari Ghosh was given, then this dispute came in form, and Congress split into two parts. That is also known as Surat split. This question usually they are asking in 2 marks. So students, that's all for today's video. I hope so you understood this thing. If you are having some problem, some confusion, then you can write me in comment section. I can solve that problem to you. So student, stay home, stay safe, and till then have a nice day.